I'm going to show you how to make an additional $100 per day using Jasper.ai. And I don't mean just using their affiliate program and spamming your link everywhere. No, we're not talking about that. We mean actually providing value to people in a service and then you getting at least $100 or so per day, depending on how much time you actually put into it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. But before we get started, you will need Jasper.ai in order to use this. So be sure to go to bloggerevolution.com/Jasper. That's bloggerevolution.com/Jasper. I'll be sure to put a link down in the description. It is an affiliate link. However, you will get a free 10,000 free credits just for using it. And this is something that you're not going to get anywhere else as well. I'm going to give you my free templates that I've created to help me write blog posts faster. I'll send that to you within the program once you get started. Just let me know once you have done this by just leaving a comment down below or finding my email on the About page on my channel and shooting me an email, and I'll shoot these things right over to you. So that's bloggerevolution.com/Jasper to go ahead and check it out. Now, when you are signing up for Jasper, it will bring you to this page where you need to decide which one you're going to want. Be sure to, in my opinion, probably go down from the middle one. You do need boss mode, by the way. You definitely need boss mode in order to take advantage of this particular process. But instead of using it at the default at $99, get it a little cheaper. Do the $59 one for the 50,000 words. That is well more than enough that you would need to get started with this. Now, once you've done it a while and you start doing more and more of these, then you might want to upgrade to the other one. But you're going to get an extra 10,000 credits just for using the link down in the description. So you'll end up getting 60,000 words as well. So that's going to be a pretty good option as well. So go ahead and take advantage of the boss mode. Now, once you are logged in to Jasper and you're already in here, one thing I do recommend is go into their support, especially if you've never used Jasper before, and take advantage of joining their Facebook group and checking out their video trainings. They literally show you step by step how to use Jasper effectively and quickly so that you can literally write blog posts in like 20 minutes or so. It is not anything like ridiculous, but going through the training will be super helpful to learn a lot of the different commands and prompts and stuff that you would need in order to use Jasper effectively. So once you are inside Jasper, what we're going to be doing is writing blog posts. So the first thing you're going to do once you are in here is over here near the documents. You're not going to click documents. You're just going to click the plus sign next to document for a new document. Once you've done that, you have two options, one for the start from scratch and then another one for blog post workflow. I would go ahead and click on blog post workflow. And here you're literally just going to be inputting the information that you're going to be needing in order to create the blog post. So it says describe the content that you want to create and then any types of keywords that you want into it. When we get to how we're going to get traffic to this particular offer, we'll talk about the keywords at that point. But you're going to need to put some type of information here, and the keywords, you're going to include a title that you want, as well as you can generate ideas after you have come up with at least one. They'll give you the option to generate some ideas. Jasper does a pretty good job of coming up with some pretty click-worthy type titles, but usually with the type of blog post that we're going to be creating, you're going to want to make sure that you are keeping SEO in mind when doing that. For further information on how to do SEO correctly, be sure to go check out a video over here on this channel that shows you exactly what type of SEO that you need if you want to be able to rank on the first page of Google. But once you've done that, you can also click on what you want to include in your intro paragraph. I would go ahead and write this out as plain bare bones that you possibly can, and then let Jasper kind of take the reins and take it from there. Once you've done that, you're going to click on open the editor. After that, it's pretty much going to spit out a decent beginning article for you. This one's already been a little written out that you can take advantage of. And as you can see here, as you are typing stuff, just click on either Command J, especially if you have the boss mode plan, click Command J and then compose, and it'll keep writing it for you. The only trick that you need to keep in mind 100% is as you're creating this content, you absolutely positively need to fact check it to make sure that it's not making any crazy erroneous claims, which is something that all of these AI writers do, especially Jasper. So make sure that you are doing fact checking to make sure that everything is accurate. As well, as editing it to add in your own voice. Now, the idea here is not to come up with the perfect blog post. You just want to come up with something that's good enough to throw out there. Usually bloggers and SEOs, when they're creating their sites, they're kind of throwing something that's minimum viable that's out there on the internet, and then waiting to see if Google gives it any love. Usually, and then if it shows up on the 4th page, 3rd page, something like that, then we can go in and highly optimize the post so that we can try and get it to push onto the 1st or 2nd page. Obviously, you want it on the 1st page, but that's what you would normally do. So remember, you're not trying to write the greatest post in the world here, just something that makes sense, where the facts is all correct, and it has your own voice and doesn't sound like it's been created by an AI tool. Be very careful of this, because you don't want to come across as just someone who presses a button and then sends the article, because you're going to always be sending subpar content. Okay. So once you have gotten this whole process down, now we move on to the next phase of doing this. Now that we've gotten familiar with Jasper and we're ready to go with creating these blog posts, now we need to go to one of my favorite places to go, Fiverr.com. Now, I've hired people on Fiverr like literally at least 2 or 3 times a week, because I'm always having random things that need to be done. But once you are here, instead of just start to search for anything, I want you to go to become a seller. When you become a seller, then you're going to fill in the information based on what it is that you do. Okay, so you can be a designer, a developer, a writer, or a video editor. We're going to click on writer because that's what we're trying to do here, and then you're going to click on start selling. Go through the processes that they have for you to get your account set up, and most importantly, don't forget to fill in your tax information based on whatever country you happen to be in. If you're in the United States, you got to input a W-9. Fiverr makes it insanely simple in order to put that information in, but if you don't do it, then you won't be able to make your profile live so that people can find it. So you need to fill out that W-9 or whatever tax information Fiverr is going to be asking of you as you create this, as you start to create your gig, and then start having people find it and get more stuff to your profile. All right. So after you clicked on start selling, you're going to get to a point like this, where you're going to have your overview, your pricing, your description and frequently asked questions, requirements, gallery, and then you eventually will publish it. So first of all, when it comes to this gig title, make sure, let's zoom in just a tad here. Make sure that your gig title is nice and click worthy, but extremely simple. All right. Click worthy and simple. And so, for example, I will write an awesome blog for you or something like that, whatever thing that you're going to be doing. When you put in this information, you're going to get some automatic categories down here, or suggested categories from Fiverr. And most of the time you will want to go with the writing and translation, and then articles and blog posts. Now, for a little inspiration on what you can put here to kind of separate yourself from everybody else that's out there, on the Fiverr homepage, if you go to writing and translation and then article and blog posts, scroll down. Don't look at these ones that are here. I would normally go to the ones that are kind of popping up organically. So these right here, just like I will write a perfect Dutch blog, or a text or article. I will write lifestyle travel blog, modern bridal articles, wedding blog posts, or something of that nature. So you can use these as inspiration, right, as you are trying to create content. So there is a trick here that we'll talk about in just a second, but after you put in your language that you're going to write in, the topics that you write in, when it comes to your topics, be absolutely positively sure that you niche down. It's much better to not just be, I'll write you an SEO article. You say that you'll write an SEO article about sports or about psychology or whatever you're interested in or don't mind doing further research in, because you're going to be creating that content as well, right? So as you're creating that content, it makes so much more sense if you can niche down, because if you try to appeal to everybody, then no one's going to see you. So you differentiate yourself by writing about one specific thing. Now, this doesn't mean that you couldn't create multiple gigs that talk about different things. So you might create one gig that showcases how much you like writing marketing articles. The next one could be about sports and recreation. The next one could be about psychology. But I would definitely have different types or different gigs for each one, so that when someone is specifically looking for your expertise, you're going to be easier to be found. This is proven. It works when you do this much better and you're niche down, because the more niche you are, the less competition is out there, which means you have a better opportunity to be able to get more gigs booked. Okay, so once you've done that, put in some positive keywords that you would like as when people are finding you. You only got to put at least one, but I would do at least probably 2 or 3. Nothing too crazy. Fiverr is pretty smart. They can figure out what it is that you're talking about, and then click on save and continue. Now, once you've gotten there, here's the trick that I want you to make you 100% aware of, and that is creating your pricing. Now, your pricing needs to be competitive and somewhat different. Don't go out there and just put, $5. All right. It needs to be something that's going to differentiate you from somebody else. So if you see here, they say starting at $15, starting at $10, starting at $25 and $20. The more niche you are, usually the more money you can charge per article. So when we go to these second tier guys down here, she's charging $100 for an article, $120 per article, $180 for an article. Oh, this is 30 articles. But here, I will ghostwrite an attractive SEO blog post for $100, and she's a verified. Look how many she's getting here: 1,000 or so, 916 or so 5-star reviews. People love her stuff. She's creating content, and people are doing it, and they're paying the premium price for it, right? So I would definitely price anchor while you're in here as well. So what price anchoring is have something that where the standard is going to be the best. When you think about it, if you go to like the movies or something, you typically have your small, medium, and large. Usually the large is probably too much, the small isn't enough, the medium is just right. So when doing your pricing, I would start the pricing off at like probably $40 or so, and then for the standard, make that probably $75 or maybe even $100, and then for premium, maybe like $100, $110, $120 per. This is going to separate you from everyone else who's doing this stuff super cheap, right? And you either want to be more expensive to everybody else or undercut everybody else. At Fiverr, typically the whole route is the race for the bottom, so you don't want to do the race for the bottom. You want to be on the higher end of it. So make sure that you are charging more of a premium price. For the pricing, you do have to test this and figure out what works best for you. I mean, I wish I could just tell you, use this price, and this price, but I try to give you a little bit of a guideline of what you can at least start off with, but run it for like a week and see how many impressions and see how many people actually click and maybe even book you. And if it's not enough or it's too many, then you can raise your price or you can lower your price based on what it is that you're trying to do. But it's all a refinement process depending on what your specialty happens to be. Now, once you've put in all of the information here, you're going to also click save and continue and go to your description and frequently asked questions. Now, the description and frequently asked questions are super important. So what you will want to do is find one of these people who you kind of like, you like their picture or whatever, and maybe they've sold a lot. I would definitely go for someone who sold at least 300 or 400 of these deals. And by doing so, click on their profiles. Like, let's look at this one that we were just talking about earlier and see what their profile looks like, right? See what they've included in their profile. And first of all, do not copy. You don't want to copy this exactly. What you want to do is convert this to your own words and make sure that it makes sense for what you're going to be providing. And this is where you're going to put in all of your information. And do this based on any experience you might have. You might have to really dig down deep and think about what value you provided for someone in the future and be able to throw it into your gig so that you're not just random, hey, I'll write you an article, but I have zero experience, right? So maybe you are, you work for, maybe you work at a gym and you're trying to get some extra cash. You can say, hey, I work at a gym and I know about this a lot, right? And because of that, I can create this content, and then you go through with the SEO stuff there. So make sure that you use some type of professional experience that you might have. It could definitely be whatever you do for work already, and use that information, use that experience that you have to make yourself stand out from somebody who does not. And even if you are just an enthusiast, right, and maybe you don't work for it, or maybe you would like to write golf articles, but you're not a professional golfer, but you play golf, that's good enough experience right there that you can infuse in your subscription, in your description so that you can be sure to get chosen for that particular niche when people are looking for those types of articles to write. Now, once you've done that, you go ahead and throw it out there on Fiverr and just see what happens. You will need to give it some time. One thing I like to do is just go to Facebook groups, and you don't want to spam, but you want to help people out. And if they seem like they might need some writing services or something, then kind of throw out there, well, you know, I do have a Fiverr gig, and then drop your link there. You don't want to spam it, because the second that you spam it, you're going to get kicked out of the Facebook group. So you need to provide value first and say, by the way, I have a service. Click here to go check it out on Fiverr. That way, if it's through Fiverr, then it's going to help build up how many people are clicking and buying your services, but it's going to also help with getting you some initial reviews. So get those initial reviews if you get them off of Facebook, or if you have some friends or family who wouldn't mind buying the gig from you, and maybe just give them the money back or something like that, just to kind of get a couple of good reviews out there. Then those are some recommendations that you can do, and that way you can get a positive review here, positive review there, and really get the ball rolling. But you want to be, you know, legitimate with it, provide a good value and a good service for it, and then let Jasper do it. If you're trying to write, you know, a 500-word, 1,000-word article, and you do it with Jasper, you can literally do it within minutes if you use the training that they show you how to use there, and being able to provide it as a service. And again, in order to do this effectively, you will need to have a Jasper subscription. So be sure to check the link down in the description and go to bloggerevolution.com/Jasper. That's bloggerevolution.com/Jasper. Again, you're going to get 10,000 free credits just for joining, as well as my personal free templates to get started so that you can write your blogs faster if you're not going to use the templates that are within Jasper already. Again, just leave me a comment down below or shoot me an email on my about page here on the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.